Hello there everybody, I'm Trudy, I'm the One Grounded Angel, and this is my weekly angel card reading video, and we're talking about the week of Monday the 19th of November through to Sunday the 25th of November 2018. So we have a Gemini full moon hitting us on Friday, and Gemini is a sign all about contradictions. So you might find that sort of energy coming through of you wanting to change your mind constantly, and try to hold on to what is really important to you around that time, rather than getting your attention pulled away by other distractions. Try to be focused, so that distraction energy could come up. No offense, Geminis. I'm a Gemini ascendant, so I'm not trying. I do get it. I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing necessarily. So Gemini is also the sign of communication. If you know a Gemini, they're probably really chatty, and it's also the sign of intellect and ideas. So that's great. The full moon around those energies, giving us some ideas, can really help us move forward, and some intellectual stimulation, which is always pretty welcome. Now, the communication thing's interesting because, drum roll, it's Mercury retrograde. That started last Friday. I forgot to alert you to it, but honestly, Mercury retrograde isn't a big thing on my radar anymore because I've realised that communication problems happen all the time, and particularly technology problems, so I've stopped tracking them to Mercury retrograde. They can certainly be more common during that time, but I don't really worry about it too much. I think we put too much fear-based energy around that retrograde. But anyway, in relation to the Gemini full moon on Friday, that could mean that we've got this communication sort of idea coming through. You need to be extra aware that because Mercury is in retrograde, Mercury being the planet that rules Gemini, communication could be extra strained around that time. So people say things, try not to take them at face value. It might mean that their words are muddled. They've given you an impression they didn't mean to give. Try to give them the benefit of the doubt, and don't take anything too personally around that time, just because that retrograde energy is throwing a spanner in the works. And that's not really what we want at this time of year, because Mercury does also rule the postal service, and this is the time when people are sending Christmas cards, Thanksgiving cards, all sorts of things if you're in a Western country. So yeah, that's going to be fun. But anyway, as I said, I don't attach too much importance to it. Whatever happens, happens. And certainly with travel, though, you want to allow extra time to get places. The other thing that's going on is on Monday the 19th, we have a clash between the planets Mars and Jupiter. It's called a square in astro speak, and it means that Mars is the planet of action, can be a little bit aggressive, and it's also the planet associated with sexuality or sexual energy, and it's going into battle with Jupiter, which is the planet that expands wherever it hits, and it's also associated with fortune, travel, global expansion. So it could mean that there's a bit of tension going on between what you want, and you feel you're not getting there fast enough, or just some sort of hurdles could come up. Try not to get too pushed around by that. It's just a day. It might last longer than a day, of course, but try not to see short-term hurdles as long-term sort of game changers or game enders anyway. So just try to have some perspective is what I'm saying. And now that we're 3.5 minutes in, let me start shuffling the cards, and I'm feeling Archangel Michael's energy really strongly at the moment, so I thought I'd start with his card deck. Not that he made it himself, of course, but oh, I've just dropped the cards, so perhaps that was a no-go. We're going to move on from that, and we'll come back to Michael. But yeah, I am feeling, he's associated with strength, courage, confidence, and also protection. So yeah, I'm feeling he's helping us a lot in those areas. So Monday we have, you are a powerful light worker. So the term light worker, you might not know if you're new to this sort of stuff. Oh, my nails look terrible. I'm so sorry. There you go. Distractibility. The light worker term means someone who is here to help spread love and light. It's that simple. So that might be in the form of you being a healer. It might be in the form of you doing lots of acts of kindness. It might be, there's all sorts of ways we come here to serve, and so it's whatever it means to you. But if you're watching this, you are drawn to spirituality, and it's because you already know you have this spiritual ability. And card is addressing anything that might be blocking you from stepping into that power. It might be a fear of what it means. It might be a fear of judgment by other people. It took me a long time to come out of the spiritual closet, which is the term that people talk about, because I was afraid of judgment and losing friends and people putting all sorts of labels on me and losing all sorts of things I was worried about. And that's potentially because in previous lifetimes, people who had these sort of spiritual abilities were punished for it, often with their lives. Loss of lives, I should say. So it is natural to be afraid of what that might mean if you do have this intuitive ability. And the truth is we all do. It's just some of us are not really aware of it. So this is asking you to not be afraid of your own power and to use it. The other thing that's coming through with this is if you've been getting intuitive messages about something you need to do, perhaps for your life purpose or just in your life generally, don't shy away from doing that. Honor that, because it's leading you towards something more, even if what you're doing isn't necessarily you're not 100% sure about. It's a really inconvenient time for a helicopter to go over the top. Thanks, guys. Maybe it's because... Sorry, the helicopter is symbolic, I'm being told, of them hovering over us and helping us. How appropriate. I didn't get that at first. So there's a reason that came through. You're getting the help from the universe. You're not being, given this big life purpose or these tasks to do and no help. The help is there. You just need to ask for it. And it's always there, even if you don't realize it. So make sure you ask for it. I have gone off track. Please remember how powerful you are and how much ability you have to make things happen for yourself. Even if you don't consider yourself a light worker, even just manifesting what you want in your life, that's a superpower that we all have. And don't be afraid to use it. I'm going to go back to Michael now. Since fear came up so strongly there, and straight away a card has jumped out. So this is obviously right for Tuesday, the 20th of November, write about your thoughts and feelings. So journaling is such a massive trend right now, and I love that. There's a reason it's popular. It's because people do find it really cathartic for getting all this congestion out of the brain and write on paper. You can see things more clearly then. You can work through things. You can articulate what you want. You can see where you're going off track. And it's just a really healing thing to do. So I recommend it to a lot of people in readings when they're stuck. It really helps give voice to how you feel and what you're going through. And you can also try free writing to get messages from your intuition. It's not something that works for me because I'm a writer. I find it just too hard to switch off and let my intuition guide the words because I am used to writing to deadlines and to audiences and to a brief. So it doesn't work for me, but I know a lot of people swear by it. So definitely Google free writing if that's your jam. But this is also, some of you can use writing more in terms of your life purpose to share your message as well. So there's something in there for everyone. Wednesday, gosh, the cards are flying out now. Serena, the angel of abundance. We like the angel of abundance. So abundance, we often go straight to money, and it is about money, but it's not just. So often where people get stuck is they're asking the universe for abundance, they're trying to manifest it, and they're going, I'm not getting any more money, and then when you ask them, they're getting all these great things coming through. They're getting opportunities, they're getting new friends, they're getting social invitations. So the universe is turning on abundance, but it's not showing up in the form that people expect it, so they're not seeing it. So if it is money, try and be specific about that when you're asking for it. The text on this card is speaking about money specifically, and it's reminding us that, you are going to get what you want, but you don't have any say over when that shows up or how. So the key word on this is need. So, I mean, with money, obviously we do need it. We've got to survive, and we need that. But often when we're setting goals or trying to manifest things, we get too attached to the result. And so sometimes you need to separate yourself from what you think you need and what you actually do need. You probably already have enough of what you need to survive, and what you're asking for may be over and above what you want, or it might be just what you want rather than what you need. So keep that in mind. Do I actually need this, or is it just something I want? Because when we are too attached to something, we don't give the universe any space to bring it through. And often, as I say, the universe is a different idea of what we actually think, what is actually right for us. But regardless of whether that resonates with you or not, this is a really reassuring message, and it's telling you that everything's going to come through for you. So please try and trust that you will always have the money you need, and it is going to come through for you. And yeah, it's a good thing. There's not really much more to say about that one. Let's shuffle for Thursday now, the day before the full moon. Okay. Cupid, lots of purples coming through today. So Cupid is a card I realised I was misreading it for a while. I always interpreted it as being, Cupid bringing love into your life in terms of romance. But it's not just about romance. It's about love across the board, I found out later on. So the thing, when people are looking for romance, and this is a mistake I made for a long time, they're asking for more love and they're not recognising that they already have a lot of love in their life because it's not the type of love that they were wanting. So two things here. You do need to be really specific about that you're wanting romantic love. Don't just ask for love. And you also need to recognise the love that you already have, because as you will know if you've seen these videos before, I talk about this a lot, what you focus on is what you gather more of into your life. So if things aren't going well in your life and you're really dwelling in your life and you're really dwelling on that, you're going to attract more things to dwell on or be upset about. So we always need to be grateful for what we have. This is why gratitude is massive. It's what we focus on is key in terms of what we attract. If you're great, even though things aren't perfect, if you can find things you're grateful for, you will start to attract more blessings. And we had a card around this on this Saturday. So yeah, appreciating, I think this was really helpful when I was single, actually. Appreciating the love I already had in terms of family and friends, even strangers who do kind things for me every now and then was really key. So recognizing the love you already have, and also it's sort of a love letter from your angels as well, telling you that they love you. I'm going to read this to you. I don't always go by the text on the cards because I don't always love it, but not that I don't love it, but sometimes the language is a bit funny, but this might be helpful. We send great waves of love into your heart and mind, awakening your love for life itself. I think that last part's really key because often people don't like their lives and they're wanting a partner. Again, this was something I did. They're wanting a partner to come in and make their lives better because I think that if they just had a relationship, their life would be great. And it's not that a relationship doesn't really bring a lot of joy and support into someone's life, but it's not something that you actually need to be whole and to be a success and to have value. So, gone off track. What I'm saying is that if you don't love your life already, again, it's going to be really difficult for you to attract a relationship because you're coming at it from a place of lack, which sounds a bit funny because obviously we wouldn't ask for something if we didn't already have it, if we didn't want it because it's missing, But what I'm saying is you have to recognize, you have to sort of love your life as it is now because you're looking for something to be a bonus, not to be the be-all and end-all. Hopefully all that made some sense. It was a bit scattered, I know, but awakening your love for life itself. If you're not in love with your life, it's going to be really hard for you to attract more romance into it in the form of a partner. So anyway, make of that what you will. And even if you're already in a relationship with your soulmate, you still need to work at being in love with your life because you want to keep attracting new things into your life. And too often we do look to even sometimes when people come to me in a reading and say, I want more passion in my life, or I want something to be, they're looking to their partner to provide them with passion. We've got no passion, but they're not looking at how much passion they personally have. They've got, they've actually got no hobbies or no interests, or, they're not passionate about spending time with people or anything like that. So we need to really cultivate that relationship with life itself, which is an extension of the universe, of course, and really enjoying what we have and feeling love for what's there. Doesn't mean that life isn't a bit crappy sometimes and you're allowed to be okay with that or not be okay with it, but to, express disappointment for that. It's really important not to try and paint over negative emotions or dissatisfaction or anything like that, because often that's coming up to show you where you need to do some work. But there's always, as I said earlier, there are always things to be grateful for and to celebrate. There's always beauty. Friday, signs. This is annoying because I have to now repeat myself about signs. Honestly, I get asked this question so often, and even I guarantee you, when I post this on Instagram on Friday and explain everything about signs, someone underneath will go, "How do I know if it's a sign?" Even though I've just explained it. People often just are really quick to come in with that and not actually read the information that's supplied. I have an article. It's consistently one of the most read articles on my blog, is this article about signs, because people are so eager to look for signs for reassurance, which I totally understand. I do the same, but we can get a bit too dependent on signs. Like if we're doing something and then something happens, something goes wrong, we think, oh, it must be a sign, I'm not supposed to do it. But actually, it's not necessarily the case. Sometimes bad things just happen, they're not necessarily a sign. And sometimes things go wrong to push you into a new direction or to bring something else through. Things need to fall apart so something you can build, etc. But in terms of the signs, what this card is speaking to is, if you want validation about a message, or you need a sign that your angels are there for you, or anything like that, ask for a sign. And sometimes you can get signs without asking for it. That's just your angels saying hello and to reassure you they're there. And the typical signs are finding feathers and coins in places you would not expect them. Now, there was an article on my blog where I talk about how I saw a lot of feathers and got really excited and came around the corner and there was a dead seagull there. Not a sign, and that's because I was on the waterfront. So do be aware, if there's a reason, a logical reason for that to be there, it's probably not a sign. I found a feather in my kitchen sink in my old place. I think I talk about that as well. Although there is a window there, there's no birds in that area because it was an apartment building. So, you do have to ask yourself, without over-analysing, you do have to be aware. My friend has 3 budgies. Feathers are always in her house. That's not going to be a sign for her. So she's joked about that before. So feathers and coins, seeing clusters of butterflies, they can often be messages from people who've passed on as well. Seeing rainbows sometimes, distinctive cloud formations, some amazing cloud formations on Google if you look for angels in the clouds or anything like that. People have seen some fantastic, really distinctive and very clear signs in the form of clouds. What else? Seeing digits repeated is a massive one, especially 111. Hence why I was so excited about November 11 the other week. I quite often see 1111 on the time. It's a master number, it's an angel number, it's very significant. If your grocery bill comes to $11.11, well, that's a cheap run if it is, but maybe you're getting 111.11 or something like that. That's significant for sure. And what else? Oh, my alarm's got off. I've gone too long. Hang on a sec. I'm trying to keep these down. So, music. Music is the other one. I'm going to try and talk faster so I can wrap this up. 1111 because, music, because that's a really key way angels communicate. I'm actually just going to turn this off because let's face it, I'm not going to get this done quickly. And it could be that the song is meaningful to you. And I've written a blog post about how this happened to me. Or it could be just that there's a lyric in there that suddenly jumps out at you and that's what you need to hear. But yeah, they do use, angels do use music a lot. Saturday, 24th. What have we got here? Sign from heaven. Oh, hello. Signs are repeated. So as I just said, butterflies can be a sign from a loved one. If this is coming up for you, it's probably because there is a loved one who has passed on and is passing on their greetings to you and letting you know that they're there, they're okay, and they're very loved. Often what people want to know from loved ones is that the loved one is okay, and they really are, because when you're on the other side, there's nothing but love. There is often, everybody has different views about this, but my personal belief is that there is an accounting for all the things we've done, for sure, but it doesn't mean that they are sitting there being angry at you anymore. There's no resentment or I wish that person had called me, or I'm so annoyed that this never happened, or anything like that. So it's also reassuring because they're letting you know that you are going to be all right as well. It's not really about them. So sometimes this comes up for people who have an ability to communicate with people who've passed on. So if you've been feeling that someone is around you, this confirms that that's accurate, and for some of you, it's a sign that you would do well to practice your mediumship. Yeah, very very simple message. I'm glad it's come through on a Saturday because I don't normally get, Saturdays and Sundays I don't get as much traffic, and that's good on my social, which is good because that card's just not going to relate to everybody. Yeah. Sunday, passion. Does anybody else feel like I'm going around in circles here? I talked a bit about passion. Often we look to a relationship to provide us with passion. Passion is not just sexual. Sexual passion is an extension of the passion that we already have. And this is talking about passion for life and about career. You need to have some passion. You don't need to love your job. It's okay for a job to just be a job. But there's something about it in there you need to love to give you the impetus to keep going. It might just be your workmates or a particular time of the day, or I don't know, but there has to be something in there. And people will often talk about following your passions, but sometimes you need to start something to figure out if you're passionate about it. You don't necessarily know from the outset. So this would be an invitation to do things that you're passionate about and to do some work in actually trying to discover what that is. Yeah, that's oversimplifying, but sometimes I have to oversimplify in these because they have to be general. It's just the nature of these videos. So what have we got here? There's a lot about manifesting, and signs is obviously a big theme. Doing more with our spiritual gifts in terms of what we're here to do, and in terms of communicating with our angels, and in terms of trying to manifest what we want. Yeah, those are the main themes. So thank you very much for watching. I will post these on my Instagram and my Facebook page as always. My Instagram is @OneGroundedAngel and my Facebook page is OneGroundedAngel. If you want to make a booking with me, I am getting pretty full in the lead up to Christmas, but you can do that on the bookings tab on my page, which is my webpage, which is www.onegroundedangel.com, and you can do that from anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in Australia. I don't do face-to-face bookings anymore. I only do them via email or Skype because of the distance, and so many of you are overseas, and I prefer it that way, to be honest, because it helps me get some distance from people's energy. It can be quite intense sometimes. And you can also book healing if things have come up. If you've had a reading with me and you feel like you're making no progress, you might like to look at booking an energy healing session to bring up anything that's blocking you from making progress, or any fears or attachments that are keeping you stuck. That's it for the week. 22 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again next week.